Hey everyone, so I recently did a video where I was showing you the differences in the colors of green unroasted coffee beans. I thought it might be interesting to show you some of what roasted coffee beans look like and the differences here. Um, I'm gonna have some beans from the same continent, so I'll have a Burundi and I'll have a Ethiopia, and I just want to kind of show you the differences in the color, even the smell a little bit, kind of the smells that I get from them. I don't know. I think it'd be an interesting video to just kind of talk about them and the differences of coffee depending on where they were grown, elevation, and whatnot. Because there's a lot of differences. Even the way I roast them is different depending on the country that they're from and the conditions that they were growing in and whatnot. So let's take a look at them. So I have this Burundi that's here, and it's roasted to a lighter roast. It's about 410-degree roast level internal bean temperature. So that's about a light roast. It's almost a City Plus roast here, or I guess you would consider that potentially a light to light medium roast, which is, I would say, on the darker side of what I like to roast to. And I want to pick up a few of these and just show you what they look like. So these were roasted a couple of days ago. This is the coffee beans that I like to use for my cold brew that I make. I like to roast them to this level. I found that they really brought out some cool berry notes to them and a really nice chocolatey note as you started to roast them to about a City Plus roast. So a little bit of a darker one. It tastes good as a pour over, but I enjoyed it even more as a cold brew. So these are the Burundi beans. They are very uniform in color all across. You don't really see too much color discoloration on them. I'm going to also then show you the Ethiopia that I have right next to these and show you the differences in the discoloration that they have, where they're not all one color, which is really interesting. So this is the Burundi, and then moving over here, we have the Ethiopian. This is my organic Ethiopian coffee that is one that I've had for, I don't know, maybe 4 months or so now. It's a single origin, organic. And I'm going to pick up a few of these, and you could see different colors from them as you kind of compare them to the Burundi. You'll see some lighter beans and some darker beans. So this is not a blend. It looks like it could be a blend, but it actually is just one roast. This is all from one roast. It's not even a second roast. This is one. So it's really interesting how the colors of the beans will change quite drastically depending on how they were harvested. And one other thing to note here is that these are also both natural process coffees. So they both sit in the sun for a few weeks. They both leave their pulp on for quite a bit of time. They don't get washed off. So they're very, very similar in terms of how they are being processed, but they look completely different. So I'm actually going to grab a napkin and kind of put them together and show you the differences maybe a little closer here. So on the right side, we have the Burundi, and on the left side, we have the Ethiopia. Like I said, they're all roasted relatively the same. I would say the main differences here is the Burundi was roasted a tiny bit longer, so internal bean temperature to around 410, and the Ethiopia goes internal bean temperature to around 405. So it's 5 degrees difference, which could actually mean 30 seconds to a minute difference. In these cases, for these ones, it's really just maybe 20, maybe 25 seconds difference. So it's not much, but the conditions of the beans where they've grown, the elevation, how they were processed especially is going to affect the color of them. So the Ethiopia is not my lightest roast that I have. It's a light roast, but it is not my lightest. The Colombian that I have is the lightest roast, and that one doesn't have too much of a discoloration, kind of like the Burundi does. It is a little bit lighter on the color, but it's all pretty uniform. As you can see here, the two that are in the middle are pretty light, and the one on the right side is pretty dark. They're all from the same roast. This isn't a blend, it's all single origin. It's just that they have different colors that come out of them. So really, really interesting. Wanted to make a quick video just kind of showing these and showing you the differences as I roast some more. This is my first Burundi that I've roasted in probably 5-10 years or so that I've actually roasted in mass production. So it's really interesting. I like it a lot for my cold brew. It's really uniform all across, and I'm going to continue to roast it. But as I was roasting and as I was putting them into my containers, I thought it'd be a cool idea to make a video about the color differences in them, which I think is pretty cool. So the differences in the color of the Burundi and Ethiopia, it's really hard to determine why. There could be a lot of factors that go into it. I would say the most important thing is that they are processed natural. So they sit out in the sun for a few weeks. It helps with the discoloration a bit, but you know what? It brings in a lot of those really great natural flavors in it as they sit with their outside layer still attached to them. So because they don't have a uniform color, doesn't mean that they're going to be a bad coffee. This Ethiopian coffee that I have here, I've had it for a while now, and it's a really good coffee. It's actually one of my favorites. When I sell it, I prefer to sell this one over my other ones because it has a really cool berry flavor in the beginning of it, and even has an ice pour over, those berry notes come out even more, and it gets really, really bright. So it's a really good coffee. The Burundi, it's a really good cold brew coffee, but the color of the beans doesn't really affect it. It's just really cool to show the uniqueness of every coffee bean, no matter where it's from, which country it's from, how it's been harvested. And I just think it's really interesting. I thought I'd make a quick video just showing you the differences in colors. If you ever go to a coffee shop and you buy some beans, some new beans, whether it's mine or someone else's, and you buy one from, let's say, you know, Colombia, and then you buy another one from Ethiopia, if the color of the bean is different, that doesn't mean that it's a bad bean. It just means that it was grown in a specific environment that played a part in the color of that bean. Also, you know, if you prefer the darker roasted coffee beans, and, you know, as you roast more, it is going to bring out more of that dark, charcoaly kind of look to it, and smell and oily and whatnot. So these are all lighter roasts, so they're not going to have those oily textures on the outside. They're not going to be super dark. If I was to roast these to, you know, 425, 430 internal bean temperature, yeah, of course, they'll all be uniform in color. But when you get to lighter roasts, they don't actually get to that uniform color. So really interesting. Just wanted to point that out, make a quick video. Give me a like if you like this video. Consider subscribing, and also if you have any additional questions, I love just answering questions about roasting. That's kind of what I do, and I kind of want to educate more people on the process of roasting, because I think part of the reason why we've drank not good coffee for many years is because we just aren't as educated on it. So love to continue making these videos and educate more people on it. Till the next one.